I came from a big family business, right? And I had this uncle who used to say, culture is everything. I didn't understand what that meant. I really didn't. But now it just is so true. And so part of the culture is making sure that your employees know what are the values of this company. You know? So we reinforce that every single Monday.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow? Do you want your employees to think for themselves, make decisions? You want them to find out where they have gone wrong and just redirect themselves without really involving you at all, and maybe even just keeping you up to date on things that didn't work out, and then all of a sudden they figured out a better way? Well, as a leader, I really appreciated when people would figure it out for themselves. So today we're going to talk about how do you reinforce this and this self-management inside your workforce. I'm here with Mark Gallagher today. He is the CEO and founder of GForce Life Sciences. It's an employment service agency. They really have a niche focus on life sciences, and we talk a little bit about that today. But what I enjoyed most about this interview is really talking about, how do you get employees to just figure it out? We talked about, the one thing they do every week, when I say every week, to reinforce that. And you can learn from what Mark's doing there. Mark's company was number 8 on the Inc. 500 list. That was over 16,000% growth in 3 years. I know it seems astronomical, but really excited to have Mark share what does it take to create a culture where people figure it out. Thanks for tuning in here to Grow Think Tank. Really excited about sharing this with you. And before you run, I have done so many interviews over the last few weeks. I have such an exciting time to share with you that those interviews have been organized into the 12 core principles of fast growth companies. So all you have to do to get that is go to genehammett.com/worksheet. So you can get the 12 principles, and I've been able to go in there and find which episodes will align to each individual episode. When you subscribe to Grow Think Tank, you will find exactly what you need so that you can move forward. And many of them haven't been published yet, depending on when you're hearing this, but you can tune in to the date that means the most to you. So here's the interview with Mark. Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Glad to have you here. We're going to kick off with this with a question. Tell us a little bit about what you do at GForce and what you guys do as far as the market is concerned.
We're very, very niched organization. And when I say niche, we're in the we call the life sciences space. So we provide consultants to pharmaceutical companies and to medical device companies around the country. They're very unique individuals. I mean, they're not just your run-of-the-mill. So, I mean, if you had to, you could say that this is, we're a temporary staffing company, but we don't see ourselves like that. We're providing exceptional talent to really specific needs out there, and it's working.
Well, obviously it is. You've had some impressive growth on the Inc. list. When you made that level of growth, or you realized you were going to be ranking amongst your peers like that, how did you feel?
We made a big deal about it. When we were notified that we were going to be on the Inc., and then they said they were going to interview me, we knew something special was going on, because I think they only interviewed the top 10. So then we were notified that we were number 8, and we had a big celebration, and we put it on our website and social media, and it was exciting, actually, to be honest with you.
When you tell people that you grew 16,000% plus in a 3-year period, what kind of looks do you get from them?
We don't really talk about it, to be honest with you. I mean, we say we're on the Inc. 500 and we're number 8, but I don't say to people, "Hey, I grew 16,000%."
Well, let's say it comes up. If someone else said to you that, we grew 16,000%, would you think that was even possible for your company 3 years ago?
Absolutely not. This has been a wild ride, and but it's been very rewarding to start to see the number of customers, expanding every day, and the feedback we get from our consultants is like remarkable. To be honest with you, we call it consultant care. I mean, our onboarding process with them. Then we send them, we send them water bottles and sunglasses, and we really make them feel very, very welcome. So the experience that they have with us turns into referrals. It turns into them wanting to find us business. It turns into our clients being really happy because the consultants are good and they're happy and they're productive. And so, it's just kind of this never-ending loop, if you will, of you take good care of your clients, take good care of your consultants, and that just leads to more and more business. Because also too, when we call them gigs, when their gig is over, right? They want us to place them again, or and if we don't place them, then they'll refer us someone that has that skill set. So it just goes on and on.
When you think about your business, Mark, I know there's one kind of driving factor that you said has a huge impact on it. I don't want to steal your thunder, but what's having that big factor with your employees thinking for themselves, really pushing the boundaries and serving the clients? What is that?
As you and I have talked about it, we call it the figure it out factor. And basically, we don't babysit anybody. And now we get these crazy orders. I mean, we call them purple squirrels, to be honest with you, where, they'll be looking for some skill set that we've never even heard of. Well, we have a rotation of when the requirements come in, which recruiter gets them. And as I said to you before, these are young, well, they're all women now, but they're young women that have just graduated from college. They're very technologically savvy, unlike me. and so, they'll always be, everyone will be scratching their head going, what is that? And then we just go figure it out. Go figure it out. And then they go figure it out. They do their research. They start to understand the role that the client is looking for. And then once they get that, then they're just really good at recruiting. They go out on LinkedIn and they do, all this, all the job boards and everything else, and we always find people, always. And they're not just like, oh, they've got this on their resume. These are really, we do all of our research, we do all of our references. So these are really qualified people that we find. And, 1 week ago, we didn't even know what the words meant, to be honest with you, but we figure it out.
Mark, I want to ask you too, that's a great explanation of a new business coming in and you guys figuring it out. But I would imagine this is a theme that runs throughout the entire organization, whether it be financials, customer service, or the recruiting process, whatever it happens. Would you say figure it out factor plays a role in everything you do?
Yes, absolutely.
When you think about that, what was that intentional when you started the business, or is this something that came kind of in the middle?
It kind of came in the middle because what happened was, when I first hung out my shingle, right, I was taking any business I could get, anything, everything, right?
As we all do, right?
Right. So, but I found that it was, we were very schizophrenic in how we were operating. So I, at one point, I hired he's actually he's my business partner, and he and I were talking, and I told him this. I said, look, you know, this is low margin craziness. You know, we're doing bankers, we're doing executive assistants, we're doing accountants, we're doing lawyers, on a temporary basis, right? And so that he and I made the decision at that point, because I had worked in the life sciences space 20 years ago, and he and I decided that was where we're going to pivot the company and head down that really very niched place. And so that's what made all the difference. So we went down the life sciences path.
All right, I want to break in here because I really feel like Mark just said something really fantastic. He felt schizophrenic in his approach when he had just taking clients left and right. Now, most companies struggle to get new clients, and I know that every company wants to get new clients, but you've got to make sure you have the right filters on to get the right clients, because you don't just need a client, you need the right clients to grow your business. And the only way Mark has been able to do this and looking behind the scenes and having these conversations with him is because he's so focused on life sciences. He's got a group of employees that understands those spaces, and over the years they've built systems and a network that really does pay dividends because they're so niche focused. Now, if you are growing fast and you are not niche focused, you're probably going to think I'm absolutely wrong. But if you're struggling at all with getting new clients, it's probably because you're not positioned into the niche the way you want to. I work with clients on this sometimes, so I know what I'm talking about. If there's anything I can help you with, make sure you reach out. Now back to Mark. What was that, Mark?
About 4 years ago.
Okay, so that niched approach had a dramatic effect on not only your stress load, but also your revenue growth, because it took
100%.
years around 16,000%.
Right. And the funny thing is that I didn't listen. I didn't listen to the wisdom of my elders earlier, because they always said to me, "You got a niche, you got a niche, you got a niche." And well, I was like, "Well, I'll take any business I can take. I'll take anything, right?" Well, when we did niche in this space, it changed the ball game 100%. Margins are better. The gigs are longer. When you're dealing with highly educated people, the headaches are less.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, they're self-managed, basically.
And self-managed, that you're talking about the recruitment or the consultants, but you're also you value self-management, because that's really what that figure it out factor is.
That's 100%. We have our core values, right? And because this was a startup, I've been a maniac about making sure that everybody knows our core values. So we interview for those core values, right? And like passion, respect, enthusiasm, etc. So everyone knows before they even walk in the door that I want them to take initiative. And I don't care if they fail. At least they failed trying. And that's the most important thing, is fail fast is what our little logo is around here. I think I borrowed that from somebody, but take initiative. If you fail, you fail. So what? At least you went down swinging.
Fail fast, right? That is something you hear all the time, but most people just aren't willing to let their employees fail. So I'm going to ask you a question. What's your relationship with failure? What's your relationship with letting them figure it out? I'm smiling here because I know what the truth is. You will say that it's okay, but many times as a leader, you're afraid that they're going to mess up big time. They're going to cost you a client. They're going to cost you money. They're going to cost you a Glassdoor rating or whatever it may be. You're worried and stressed about people thinking for themselves, but you want to ensure that they're empowered to think for themselves, and they're empowered to to take action. And that means that they're pushing the boundaries and they're going to fail sometimes. If they're too cautious and not failing, then you know that you're not going to grow as fast as you could. So, in my opinion, you want to encourage failure. You want to have a different relationship with failure. Now, I'm glad Mark brought this up. So back to the interview with Mark. A lot of leaders will say that, but they don't really live it. They don't really run the business and let their employees fail. They're afraid that they're going to make a very visible failure. So how do you put boundaries around that so that you can have a low stress life?
We very early on, we realized that what we needed to have a lot of structure around our training, right? So we have to do, like, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. So we put a lot of, so before someone gets on the phone and, like, blows up a client or something like that, they've been trained in the GForce way. So they know exactly, like, okay, this is how you onboard someone. And we call it onboarding is when, okay, so I've offered you the job, right? But there's a lot of paperwork that has to be done before, we sign on the dotted line, right? So I got to make sure that I've got your references. I've got to make sure that I've had you passed your drug tests, the fact that you have actually the skills that you have. So we put a lot of time and energy into, training, to be honest with you. And so they don't mess up very often, to be honest with you, but it can happen.
You got the right training. You're leading by values. So that means you're reinforcing these every way.
Every Monday.
Every Monday?
Every Monday, we have a Monday morning meeting. And the first thing we do is review our values and our mission and our vision.
How long is that meeting? Just curious.
Say exactly 1 hour.
Okay. I like that, exactly 1 hour. It's planned out because you guys got stuff to do. So why do you feel like that needs to be reinforced each week? Mission, values, and all the other things you put inside that meeting.
Because these are young people, and you don't know what you don't know. I'm 35 years into this, so what I realized was that so I came from a big family business, right? And I had this uncle who used to say, "Culture is everything." I didn't understand what that meant. I really didn't. But now it is so true. And so part of the culture is making sure that your employees know what are the values of this company. So we reinforce that every single Monday.
Is there anything first you do to reinforce it, like to get them more engaged with it?
Just for them to start drinking the Kool-Aid. It's like they got to understand that this company stands for something, right? And these kids these days, they want to be involved with an organization that has values and especially is socially responsible as well. So we take a percentage of our profits every year, and we have 3 charities that we've picked. The employees got to pick one, I got to pick one, and my partner got to pick one. So they see us living these values every day. It's not just a slogan.
Right.
It's real. And that's why we've just become, for 2 years in a row, we're one of the top places in Illinois to work for. We've got that honor, whatever it's called.
I really understand the power of that. And a lot of people think it's just a nice award to put on your shelves.
Right.
But it really is something that attracts talent, right? It allows you to retain talent and allows you to reinforce the culture as you grow, because it is getting more challenging as you're growing at the pace you're growing. Would you agree?
Right. Oh, totally. Absolutely. And the funny thing about that is that that's a blind survey. So the employees, I don't see their answers. You know, they do it, but they look. This is when I knew our culture had really kind of like clicked. These people, so we've got about, I don't know, 15 people here. They eat lunch together every day. And that's not because they're forced. It's not like we got a cafeteria, you know. They eat lunch together. They are friends, and they are hardworking, and they get the job done. But it's really fun to see them in our little kitchen. We've got this long table, right? And see them eating lunch together every day. I mean, it's because they like each other. So if someone showed up here, well, we've had a few bad eggs. If someone showed up here, they don't last very long. You know, it's pretty obvious that they're not fitting in to the culture.
Mark, I want to make sure that we put the right spotlight on this figured out factor. You said it came in the middle. Was there something that triggered that you could share with us?
Well, it's just the so basically our clients ask us to go recruit for a specific type of skill. Okay, they'll say, I need this type of person, and I mean, don't publish this. but sometimes we don't even know what that is. So we got to go find out. We got to go find out what exactly they're talking about and go figure it out. So, but once we figure it out, and it's funny because it's you know, the learning curve never ends. However, but you know, after 4 or 5 years, you start to hear the same types of requirements. You know, you start to hear, oh, I know what that is. You know, so everyone kind of they get better and better and better as the days go by. Because if you're asked to find somebody that's got oncology and you know, like I don't know, STEM research and stuff like that, and you know, with extra things that they always ask us for, it's like, okay, well, we gotta go figure this out. Who are we looking for? And then we go find them.
Mark,
but we do find them.
Sorry about that. Have you made any mistakes in the journey of this figure it out factor, like giving someone too much rope to quote unquote hang themselves?
No, I think you know, as I look back on like this little journey, I think you know, this is my 3rd startup. I made so many mistakes in the past. I couldn't even. You'd have to. Our interview would be 3 hours, you know, because I've made a lot of mistakes. But this time, I think I've made less mistakes in the past. And no, I haven't had anybody. I have never had a problem. Never had a real major issue with the figure it out, like where I've given someone too much leniency or that, you know, they've run amok or anything like that. Yeah. No, I haven't. We're not that big of a shop either, so.
Well, I can appreciate that, but I ask that because it's a fear that a lot of people have when they give someone or empower them with too much, or they're too transparent with what's going on here. I really appreciate the fact that you shared this with me today. I do have a question that kind of always plays in my mind. I just came back from a big event with other Inc. 5,000 level leaders, and there was this word that's thrown out a lot. I use it a lot, but I don't know how you use it inside your company, but it's really about ownership, getting people to feel like they're a part of the business in a different way. I mean, maybe you do give them some slice of ownership, but is ownership a part of the kind of things that you're trying to create there, that feeling with your employees?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we do is we have this thing called a 10-pin challenge, okay? And basically the employees on a Monday morning, they'll decide, okay, every time we'll set the goals, and every time we hit a goal, we put up a bowling pin. That sounds stupid, but whatever. We put up a bowling pin. And when we have 10 bowling pins, we go and do something fun, really fun. So like, we've gone bowling, we've thrown darts, we've gone to plays, we've gone to Cubs games, we've done a million things. But they like it. And they feel like it's fun to watch these bowling pins go up, and they're into it. They enjoy it, and so as far as ownership is concerned, no, there's no equity, but they feel like they've accomplished something. And then my partner and I, John, we give them like instant gratification, right? So as soon as this 10 pin goes up, so for example, today we're going to happy hour because we hit our 10 pin challenge at 4:00 this afternoon. So we're all going to a rooftop and we're gonna have a drink and have fun. So that happens. So as soon as the 10 pins are done, we put them away and then we start putting them back up again. So
how often do these happen?
Oh God, once every 2 months at the least.
Okay. So that means you've got some big goals. They're not just little small things. And because you're growing fast, you got to have something to guide them along and support them through that. So I really appreciate it.
Exactly. So, and then we'll try to have like because those are recruiting and sales, and so we'll also try to put a goal out there that involves the operations team as well. So everybody's contributing, and it's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, we really do have fun here, to be honest with you.
So I hear that a lot with organizations that are growing fast. I mean, I think the stigma is you must be a hard driving slave, kind of popping a whip every time when someone gets out of line. But I hear a lot about how important it is to have fun. Work hard, but have fun.
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, I feel very fortunate on the young people that we've hired, because they come in here with a good work ethic, man. They work hard. So I'm not here very often. I'm not here a lot. So, but like they're just head down doing their job, and they know what their job is. They have their we call them the work mom. So they have their mentor with them, right? The operations team is just rock solid. I mean, we have no receivables over 30 days. I mean, so we've got really good technology. So everything is tracked. We put up metrics every month and say, okay, this is what everybody's done. So, I mean, I see us kind of as I think we're a small business. I mean, we're small, but we've got systems and scalability. We won't be small for very long. We got systems in place that are tight.
Well, I want to wrap this up because I think one of the systems that I think you have, and I know you really know how important it is, but this figured out factor is really about how people think and how they look at their work, and how, they have to take responsibility and ownership of, finding the solution, making the client happy, getting the rec done. And I think that's one reason why you're probably able to spend as much time as you do out of the office and still grow at the pace you're growing. So Mark, I want to say thank you for being here. If our audience is listening in, where would you want to send them to for just your website?
Yeah, GForceLifeSciences.com. Yep.
Well, thanks for being here.
I appreciate it, Gene. Thank you.
He just wrapped up there with some really interesting concepts about ownership and about recognition, and I really appreciate how he's developing this and sharing these stories with you, because I know you're caring for your employees. You're really creating a place where they love to come to work, and you've got to be intentional about those experiences. Well, if you have any questions about what you're doing and how you're moving forward, I'd love to connect with you about this. Well, if there's anything I can do for you, make sure you reach out and let me know. My name's Gene at GeneHammett.com.